Hello. So if you are just waiting in the chat, we've just one slight technical issue, and then I will get the stream underway. The guys are just qualifying now. I cannot turn it into a radio show though, so I'm just grabbing a few last bits and pieces, and then we shall be underway. Good to see a couple of you already in chat. Thanks for joining us already. Hopefully we don't have any spam bots tonight. They're not our sponsors, as I said previously. See you in there, Sam. It's not through lack of preparation. It is. It's just the fact that I got back late and I've got everything set up. I've bought the DLC especially. You're all welcome. So I bought the DLC, got that all sorted. However, I didn't download deliveries. So the guys are currently just qualifying. I think we'll have about 10 minutes left by the time I'm back in. We will see how that session ends up. Got the liveries now. Just extract those. I need some royalty-free music, don't I? It's a bit dead without. Right, close the browser so we don't completely suffocate. Right, we're heading back in. Be with you in a moment. There you go. Right then. You can hear that I'm actually trying to do things.
Green light, show them what you got.
Green light, show them what you've got. I've got a mediocre commentary. Right, we're in. We are in. We are on. Well, I've just been talking to myself, so as I've changed the scene, none of my devices are working. There we go, we are in. I will repeat myself. It's round 1 of PositiveSlipBois Endurance Championship from Indianapolis. So I've got the DLC downloaded, I have the liveries downloaded, and you've only got 3 minutes, or 3.5 minutes of qualifying to watch. So Marcel currently taking the top spot. Unfortunately, I don't have an entry list that is divided down to show. See, drivers PDF. Oh, there we go. So we've got Marcel in the SWMD Ajax Racing. So that one. Where's Marcel on the entry list? Well, that should be driven by Chris Rock and Sam Waldridge. So I don't know what wonky information I've been given. See you in the chat, Mark. Shout if you want me in for a bit, Tom. Yeah, just jump in. I think you'll have access, Mark. If not, just ping another message in the chat and I'll drag you across. So Marcel not on the entry list, chucks it to the top of the times at the moment. Back to the pits he goes. Christus in another of the Porsche, so let me know in the chat. Is the Porsche OP? We've got quite a range of Porsches. We've got first, second, and then 13th, 14th. So quite a split there. Then we have Ant Brown. Marcel is covering for me in the race as I'm starting work this evening, so I can't make it. Cheers for that, Sam. The first bit of information I go for, and it's wonky. Dear, it's the first time I've seen Indy. Good first impressions, looks good. I always remember it from the old Gran Turismo days. That's a throwback. So Christa's in second place. And what on earth are they driving? Wow, that's a livery. So there we've got Ant Brown this evening. He is partnering with Matty Zenko, which explains the livery as they take an interesting line across the inside of the curb. Then Craig, wow, that's a striking livery, we like that. The treble 8 car. We know we've seen the BMW's strong throughout various series at the moment, the pair of them going around there. So 4th and 5th currently, we've got Craig Daffron and Carl Wright. The cars seem a little floaty, I hope it's not me. Fingers crossed it isn't. So 30 seconds left on the time. Marcel's called it quits up the front of the field, having completed 9 laps. Is anyone else improving at this time? Looks like Rightis is. If I butcher any names, by the way, I am sorry. Kazlauskas. Sorry, Rightis, if I've butchered either of your names. I'm used to the slip and grip, like Dave Rose. Is he racing tonight? I don't think he's in. So Rightis not currently improving his 0.5 down, so that'll be time up. Craig the first one to take the line. Track is at optimum of 33 degrees. Apparently we might see a mix this evening. Let me know in chat if I'm wrong, but I've heard there's rumours of precipitation. The car's line of stern in the pit lane there, you see. Chris Rock, the R is pronounced for the C. Very good. Very good. Who's left on track? JP McKinley in the pits, although up on his Delta. Not sure how you've managed that, JP, but well done. Celtic Bromance Driver 177, the green McLaren you see there. Who else's time is there? Everyone else. He's in the pit. There we go then. It's going to be tight on a previous time. Wonder if any time is to be found, although 0.2 through the last couple of corners might be a little challenging. Invalidated, and that ends the session. Yeah, the Hot Wheels livery, you're absolutely right. Where was that? 38. How does that work? Am I blind? So 38 written on the side. Wonder if we can chase cam it. It was the McLaren, wasn't it? Was that JP? No. No, that was the green one we just saw. Wellborn. Don't think I've got a... Is that free? I have got a free cap. Wow, look, we're doing this. We're doing this. It's unplanned, but there you go. So Alex McGee starting in the Andrew Wellborn and Alex McGee Slip and Grip Sim Racing Hot Wheels McLaren. Look at that. Look at that. We should probably start further down the grid. How do we move it faster? Not that one. Not that one. That one? Yes. There we go then, the Porsche front row. I've made this too slow. Number 69 starting in second. What on earth is that? Even the wheels are nervous. Like that one. Got a lot of time for that livery. Got 3.5 minutes before the start of the session. Let's try and walk a little bit faster. Bear with me, this is the cheesiest bit of commentary I've ever done. Alex starting the car for Slip and Grip Sim Racing. Hello. A little nervous? Getting the car ready? Have I completely interrupted what you and Andy were doing? Oh, I'm still on
Makes
mute.
no difference, Tom. You're on mute.
I'm on mute. Just
There
I've
we
ruined
go.
it completely. Starting the car for Slip and Grip. Shut up, just roll with it.
Was that me or was that Andy who got pulled?
I've ruined it. So, starting the car for Slip and Grip. Going long, going short. How many stops? The weather's looking clear.
Our plan is a one stop. We're hoping it stays clear. Yeah, we're going to see how fuel goes the first bit, and then I've got a very, very slightly faster map I can use if the fuel usage is good. But I don't think we'll need to use it. I think we'll be okay. The plan's hold on to where we are for me, because Wrestle and JP are normally a little bit faster than me.
Right.
And I'm not the most consistent around Indy yet, but we'll find it. And then Andy will jump in and he'll have crazy speed, I assume.
You hope so. Hope so.
Yeah.
We'll see how he goes. He goes well
More
in the
than,
McLaren,
more than
doesn't
me
he?
anyway.
Absolutely
Yeah,
right.
he's not used
I'll put you back because you've got 2
All
minutes. But
to it, mate.
good man. Oh shit, I've done it wrong. Oh, now I'm swearing on the stream. No, no. Oh no. Right, we're back. Let's carry on our grid walk. Number 92, Dave Wrestle. He's he was meant to be doing commentary. What's with the livery comments? I just look. It's in the past now. It's down there. Let's carry on. I don't actually know who's starting the car for John and Ross, but they are in a chat that I can interrupt. So John Walker in the Porsche. Here we go. Slip and Grip liveried Porsche. Well, it's just the Slip and Grip colours. So this is either John or Ross. Lads, which of you is starting the car?
Me.
John is.
Ah, we'll interview John then. John, eyes forward at the start. What's the plan of attack?
Try stay out of trouble. basically.
Okay, keep it clean. Familiar with the circuit, or is it quite new to you?
Reasonably first race here. Done a bit of practice, but yeah, first race, so it might be interesting.
Fair play. Sounds good. I see you've just approved your setup. 40 seconds to go, so we'll wish you good luck and bid you farewell.
Thank you.
And that's about it. Scattering more Porsches, some more stripy Beamers. This is a default one, isn't it? I think so. We're meant to be off the grid, and we're also very short. Yeah, cool. Jenkins and not Stiggles starting from the back of the grid. So it's a fair sized grid, 2.4 hours. I know a number of you watching are taking part, so good luck to all of you. As the cars head away at the front of the field. We need some cheesy build-up music. Oh no, we're attached to a car! Oh no, I didn't think about that. Quick! Right then. Professional setup. Here we go then. A full outlap for the field to get the cars into the right place, get them warmed up, warming the tyres. Some warm the car by weaving, some warm the car purely on the brakes in the braking zone. Two hours and 24 minutes sits atop of the timing screen, and that just frightens me. So we are running as if it is 5 PM. So by 7:30 will we start? By 7 PM will we start to see the sun going down. We've also got a wind speed of 2 kilometres an hour at the moment, so there is potential to have some changeable weather blow through, although that sky is looking fairly neutral at the moment. That's usually a good indicator, but we'll see how it goes. Quite a mix of cars throughout the field. Yeah, Matt, if you want to jump in, I'll chuck the Discord. Yeah, whenever. I'll put the Discord live so you can see what I'm shouting about rather than watching a delayed stream via YouTube. If you are in the chat, do us a favour, just hit the like button, because we've got more people in this week and it'd be great to see this kind of maybe getting recommended to some people. Also, if you can share the link, I know it's already been Chris remembered to qualify. It looks like it. Yeah, Sparky, it looks like he has indeed remembered to qualify. So they head off, or onto part of the banking, but very quickly they're back off the banking through this final chicane section. Don't want to give you too much information too quick, but later on I might even look up a track map. Wow! Right then, I think it is tradition that we hop in the helicopter cam. Let's pick... do we go with Kyle, Craig? So let's watch the front battle through turn 1. Hopefully we all get through clean. They all square up. They're all relatively close together. Marcel's got the car quite far forward. There we go, they're braking down into turn 1. They all concertina up. Ant's trying to get down the inside, but he has dropped behind the second of the Porsche. There's David Russell, he's through clean. It looks like everyone else is. How's Colin Dunn getting on? Colin Dunn. He's got John Walker down the inside of him for company. Now this will open out. John will remain on the inside. There we go, feeding through. We're looking good. John's got that move done up ahead of Colin, just ahead. Alistair's got the 66 car behind him trying to make a move. It's Rightis as we saw earlier on, so Rightis is up past JP McKinley in the second of the McLaren at the moment. It does look like a fairly clean getaway, which is absolutely brilliant to see. Knotstingle's just off the back of the pack to begin with, but Fabian Carner just ahead. Not too far out of contention, but Marcel looks like he's starting to check out. There we go. Porsche leads Porsche, McLaren and Beamers just behind. Good rotation on the power there. Yeah, lots of cars keeping it clean. SAR cars way out front. '89's been in an incident. Well, if there has been a tap of a bumper. Just going on with that now. Let's try cam set 2. A little wider angle for you now. So John 11th. What I didn't do was take a picture of the qualifying results, but there you go. Live and learn. It's been quite a rushed one this evening. Sam up there in spirit. Very good. So Marcel leads. Christers way down the back straight. Is that going to be track limits? I'm not too familiar with the circuit, but apparently it's quite harsh, so a number of drivers are going to avoid running onto the grass just there. So if we take this as the back straight, you've then got complex through this section. Drivers will just be wanting to take it easy. We've still got 2 hours and 21 minutes, so all just finding their pace, finding their stride. And Brown in a little bit of a gap, but he won't be complaining about that. You've then got the 2 BMWs of Kyle and Craig. Craig's looking feisty. They're both pushing on wide on exit. They're side by side behind. McGee's under attack from David Ressel. David there with a cutback, so Alex is compromised on his line. A narrow entrance to the final turn. McLaren not pushing on, so you can run that compromise line in there. David not particularly with a run at this stage, but the car's ahead. Craig looking to go all the way around the outside of Kyle. Is that going to be possible? He brakes later. Turns across the nose of Kyle. He's got it done for turn 1. Kyle clouts the curb, but we're sorted and through. So Craig now with some clean air to try and go after Ant Brown. A flash of the lights from Kyle. Won't be too impressed with that one, but I think we will be. That was quite the move around the outside into turn 1. David now tucked up under the wing of Alex. Little float into the turn. Goes with quite a late apex. I'm sorry if I've got some lag. Normally I'm alright, but by the end of the series we didn't have 14 cars. So down the back straight we go into the braking zone. Yeah, a little bounce across the curb there for Alex, so not looking quite as settled.
Swiggity swooty, hello.
That's the way to make an entrance. How are you, mate?
Hello, Tom. What's those comments about that livery? Tell me, my boy.
People all have different tastes, don't they? And if that's yours, then
and yours is very bad. Okay.
Right, so a very poor resolution stream should be up on your Discord, so you can see what I'm shouting about.
Okay, let me see.
Just turn down your YouTube, because I can hear. Yeah,
working on it.
Done. Right, David is growing ever closer to the back of Alex McGee's car. 0.295 behind. He ducks down the slipstream. He's not going for it.
Oh my goodness.
A little early on the call.
Yeah. The McLaren is a little bit slippery on this track, I will tell you. Or it is just my driving maybe. But yeah, traction-wise, not so great. It does make up a lot on the straights. You can see Ant always pulling up a little bit behind the Porsches again.
But, yeah, I think Ant's going to be in trouble because Craig has cleared Kyle and gone straight after him. So Ant could be in trouble. I don't know how weight comes into play of the car, of course.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to talk about strategy, of course, here. That would be a bit nonsensical even for my standards.
I don't know. Someone has declared that they're doing a one-stop already.
Oh, have they? Okay.
In a pre-race interview, after we actually did a grid walk. It was rather floaty, and I suddenly became short by the end of the field. But we actually did a grid walk. Can David throw it down the inside?
Ooh.
It's half covering by Alex, but Alex on the last lap was compromised. David's gone deep, so a little bit of breathing room this time for Alex. He's you mentioned he's good down the straight. Well, he's already got a decent advantage as we move onto the straight. So we'll leave them be for a moment. Alistair Baldwin, sorry if Celtic Bromance, sorry if I've not got your livery. I did install the pack literally in qualifying, so I don't know if there's one not been posted in there. We'll try and get it sorted for next time if I am streaming. The Beamer looking quite strong behind.
Oh, indeed, indeed. Oh, goes a bit wide, does it?
I just think it was on a different line.
The Audi did pull away a bit. No.
Yeah, not as close as they were through the first turn. We'll see how they go through this next left-hander because we've got a sector. Oh no, pushes on.
Oh,
yeah, he's out.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of time lost.
Yeah, he's out into the marbles, unfortunately. So onto the back straight. Does he clip the grass? Yeah, so
my
clip
goodness.
of the grass. We are pushing the limits. So that's Rightis in his BMW, absolutely pushing on. Back ahead, David has caught the McLaren. So like you say, through the corners, he's just... Alex hasn't quite got the legs on David.
Oh, indeed. It will be interesting to see, because the Aston is well known for tyre conservation. So we will see... oh, very brave.
He's got the cutback that time.
Yeah, very good.
But Alex has been able to take the normal line through here, so if the straight line speed is true, David taking every inch of the circuit to get the steering unwound.
I did find that actually hurts your lap times. If you go on the banking too much, there is a bump, there is a size... Oh, the move is on. No, it isn't.
Right, he's just having a look.
To stay civil on stream, I would be pooping bricks if I saw that happening behind in the mirrors.
Yeah, I think that's probably what he's trying to look at, the traction mid-corner.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that is fantastic to see.
So just on board with David now. David was set to be running part of the commentary. He's elected to go and harass Alex McGee. Narrow a line in.
That looked like...
Yeah, just a couple of places where the McLaren does just have the legs out of the corners, but look under the brakes. Oh, he had to turn out of that. It is that much better on the brakes. He just needs to pick the right moment. Back down the front, Craig is closing up on Anne. He's now half a second off, so...
Indeed.
That's a battle that you're invested in.
Indeed, I am. And did a wonderful job in the qualifying. And he's doing a solid job here in the race.
David.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
Just not quite the consistency he needs at the moment. Behind there's a move. Let's get off board. Let's go 10 seconds back. So it was side by side for Rightis and JP McKinley. Yeah. And he's just not quite got it stopped. He's been out onto the grass and he lives to fight another day. You see further ahead, David a little further back, 1.8 off the...
very close there.
Oh yeah, it was 1.8. Yeah, he's Craig's certainly closing on Ant. But does Ant take the fight to him and defend, or is it eyes forward? What do you think Ant should be doing at that stage?
Ant knows a lot more about racing than I do, and I think he will make the right call. And is he going to defend? Is he going to try and just have a conservative race so we don't risk all too much? Because we are counting on the fuel consumption of the Porsches being high, and later in the race they will need to massively fuel save or do a second pit stop.
Right.
And I think I can say it.
So you're doing a one stop off the back of that.
We are very much trying to do that. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. Why I think. I don't know Craig personally. I know he's a fast driver by the times he's been posting in the practice servers and such. But just maybe he's pushing the Beamer more than Ant is saving fuel. I do hope so. So we'll see. We'll wait and see.
Absolutely. Just some admin in the background whilst we go.
Look how much smaller that McLaren is.
Yeah, it is.
Fun to see.
But yeah, maybe more nimble. I know the Beamer is an easier car to pick up and drive quick. Not saying it's the easy option for these drivers, but more of an arrive and drive car. John Walker's right on the back of Ritis now. Let's just have a quick look. Yeah, John. So where we saw Ritis off the circuit earlier on. John Walker through the fence. There's a bit of lag for you. That's that's farmyard internet. So John Walker.
Yes, indeed. That was very much Matrix, like
morphed through the concrete and then rejoined the circuit.
Very, very wide.
How we getting on? Right, we got 8 people watching. It's good to see. Thank you for all being
Hello,
in
8
here.
random people.
Yeah,
I hope it's my.
Well, you are one of them.
Yes, very much so. But I hope the rest is my sizable fan club of like 2 people.
I hope you shared the stream.
Yes, I very much did so. I hope Jenny, my girlfriend, is watching. Hello, Jenny. And and a few of my friends, they do support verbally. Maybe they will bust through the door. You never know.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, backing down the front. We've got a lot of well, actually, Christas. Am I pronouncing that right?
Oh, I am not sure, but it does look. It did pile up a bit. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, so Christas has dropped off the back of Marcel to the tune of 5.1. Last lap with a 30. Oh
my goodness! There he goes.
He's lost it. So something's going on with that Celtic Bromance car. It's definitely feeling the oversteer. And where he saw his last lap was about a second off the front running pace, where he's been early on. I wonder if there's been a slide and those tyres are hot, because that was a little out of character for the car. That rotated quite easily.
I did, before picking up the McLaren for this season, we were written in as in the Porsche on the start.
Sure.
But for me personally, it was just way too hard to... The Porsche can be a very fast car, but it is just unbelievably hard to keep that car on edge all the time, not making mistakes. It's very easy to overdrive. Once you learn how to drive it, it's amazing, but it is just so hard to drive. It's easily the hardest car to drive in this game.
Yeah, the extra mass hanging over the back being completely rear-ended is
yes,
a
exactly.
huge pendulum effect.
Indeed, and it gets worse the longer you're in a stint, because the fuel tank is on the front, and if you are, as the race progresses, you are losing fuel, and the front end is being lighter and lighter, and that just does not help at all.
Craig really pushing the car out wide there, Ant with a good run onto the straight again, like you say, keeping it narrow. The gap up to half a second, but halfway round that lap, it certainly looked like Craig was going to be in a position to attack pretty early on. Further back, I think David is all over the back of Alex McGee. Yeah, so David's closed up again. We saw the mistake earlier on dropping back.
He is hungry for that 6th position.
He shows his nose and he closes up on the brakes, but Alex has just got those car lengths into the braking zone. It's now through the more complex corners. And David does have the pace in the Aston Martin.
This is fantastic to see how every car in this game is crafted differently and has its strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, very opposing lines on the way in. David's going to try and carry a bit more speed, but a slightly wider line. Alex tucking the nose in. David throwing the car in early, both of them managing to avoid the grass on that time of asking. Craig's getting ever closer down the front. He's 0.3 off, so it's comparable to this gap. lap time difference between these two cars is not enough for David to make a comfortable overtake. So it's going to come in the form of a lunge. We know he's quicker through this section as we head into the tight right-hander.
Is he going inside? He's gonna... No.
He sits tight for a moment. Alex slightly deeper, but not enough for an overlap. Down to 0.2. It's 0.2 down the front as well. I don't know if Craig has made a move on Ant.
It's 2/10. That is very, very close. That is literally bumper on bumper.
No, Ant is surviving at the moment.
Okay, Tomo, thank you for the interview. I will leave you to it. I'll go support Ant.
Thank you very much. Thanks for joining me.
Absolutely light,
Jump
as
back
always.
in later on.
Absolutely. Take care, my
Good
friend.
man. Right then. Oh, wheel on the dirt for Alex there. That's... David will be all over that. So, just gets his nose to the inside. It'll compromise Alex, but actually looks like David's pushed on a little more than Alex did. Differing braking points here. So David takes the inside line this time. A more aggressive apex, but just not the run onto the straight that he needed. He'll get a fair bit of toe this time. Through the S section, I'm aware there is a battle just behind it. It's Baldwin and McKinley. So we've got that battle down the front, but I don't think that's going to go anywhere just for a moment. So stick with us. Chat's gone a bit quiet. Let me know if you're still there. I'm back by myself again. Oh, David from a long way back. It's going to be contact. He's into the rear quarter of the McLaren. So it was a last minute overspeed and chuck it down the inside. Alex tries to gather the car up. And he's midway. He breaks up that battle between Baldwin and McKinley. So Baldwin gains a place. David's just letting them back through. It's like he was just caught out, didn't have the consistency to hit that braking point, and we've got a bit of contact, and now we've got this battle pack, 4 cars. JP looks to make a move down the inside. David's trying to cover it. JP down the inside, bounces over the curb. David the long way round, maintains that inside, so JP not able to get through. Alex back ahead, but it has allowed Alistair Baldwin up and through in the Audi for 6th. So we'll just jump back down the front. I say front, Marcel is a long way ahead, 8.7 seconds in his Porsche. So the recovering Krista's in 4th. Is soon going to be on the back of this pack, and it might relieve the pressure from Ant for a moment as Craig comes under fire, or it's going to push Craig into making a move. Sitting tight for now. The straight line speed of the McLaren aiding Ant in his attempt to maintain that second place. 0.3 and 0.6 then. Porsche off the back of the BMW. Big chunks of curb being taken, so we'll see if an unforced error occurs. See if the sustained pressure of Craig can unsell Ant. So further back, Alistair's been able to break away. JP is now through. What's happened to Alex McGee? Yeah, so Alex and interesting. So Alex and David have dropped further back. There's been further incident between those two. One would assume. Right then, so they were up behind Alistair. We've done a 2-minute rewind, so apologies, we are going to miss quite a bit, but I want to see what's happened. It's quite a long race. So David's another look. He's all over Alex. Alex has had that half spin, so they'll both have hot tyres. David is looking to get that place. He's shown his nose to the inside. Alex has turned in. That one's a little more questionable. That's a little chat. So the Andy Wellborn and Alex McGee car won't be too impressed. David's given that one back again, so almost declaring his own fault by letting them back through. It's a shame to see. Not what we needed to see. Back down the front during this 2-minute rewind. We've had Craig still all over the back of Ant Brown, but I believe Craig has got through. Sorry, shouldn't have done the rewind. Should have just accepted they were in the places they were in. So Ant Brown has been in an incident. Oh no, and I've missed it. So it was in the window between my 2-minute rewind and my 1-minute rewind. Sorry, people. So there was a delay in which Ant has dropped the 2 places. The guys were about 2.8 off their deltas, so knocked them a bit further down. No 4th, but a massive gap between Kyle and Alistair Baldwin. Kyle's only 3 seconds off. Where is Kyle? So Kyle in the SAR, BMW a little way off the back of those guys. So Ant now has to push forwards. Marcel is 11 seconds off the front. John Walker versus JP McKinley, 0.4. John up to 8th. I know we're... Oh, John, curse of the commentator. So John's managed to go straight on at the end of the back straight, and he drops down behind Rightis. About 5 seconds lost through that incident. Sorry, John, you're welcome. David is now off the back of Alex McGee. Colin Dunn in his Bentley, number 750. That's another Positive Perception car.
I feel like I timed it well to jump in here then.
Yeah, not bad. So the Bentley running down in 12th at the moment. Any?
She's a big beaut.
She's a big beaut. Yeah, she's looking heavy. She's pushing on.
She is pushing.
Been a couple of incidents so far. I think we've missed one with Ant Brown at the moment, and then it looks like a double incident between David and Alex.
Yeah, no, we've got David in our chat with us, and it's been, let's call the language fruitful, I think.
Yeah, it just looks both times he's caught himself out. I know Alex potentially could have turned out of some of the moves, but I'm not sure they were fully on when they were sent. But we'll leave that to the stewards.
We will. I have the stewarding form ready to go for after the event.
I think it's going to be a little busy.
Yep. I'm fully expecting that. You know, as with any event. However, I was impressed with turn 1.
Yeah,
That was-
oh yeah, early on it was very good.
Yeah,
I think
that
I've just noticed skid marks where we could have lost Ant Brown earlier on.
Ah,
So Ant's had an incident that's dropped him behind Craig and Krista's. And,
yes.
I'm not sure where that contact quite came. Carl Wright looks like he's going to be attacking him soon. But Marcel, as a stand-in driver, he's now a stand-out driver. He's 12.5 seconds up the road.
It's Marcel. I mean, he was saying in the chat with the boys earlier, you know, oh, the Porsche is so slow, the Porsche is so slow. I'm calling BS on that. It's just Marcel. He is quick. He's always been quick, and he always will be. One of those gifted talents.
So John has made his way up past Wrightis, who was 3 seconds off of his lap time. So I think an incident may have occurred there as well, but last time we looked at John, he didn't make the apex of the corner and ended up off on the grass, but he's made it through this time.
I think we've all experienced missing that apex around the circuit.
Oh, it was the back straight, so the 90 left on the back after the back straight.
Ah, yeah. So yeah, if you hit that inside curve there, it's vicious. It will just hunt the car out.
Yeah, John didn't quite even make it that far. John just went straight on. He literally missed his braking point and just carried on. Didn't hit anything though, which is critical in a race like this. You don't want to be fighting damage.
No, I can imagine McGee's got a little bit, possibly Ant, if he's had a skirmish.
Yeah, potentially. I can't see anything too revealing on the car.
Obvious.
That's it. So he's 0.7 off of Krista's ahead in the Porsche. And he's got Kyle 1.2 behind. So looks like he might be in a position to attack fairly soon. Last lap comparison, Ant was actually 0.6 quicker than Krista's, but we know that you need a little more than that to be able to overtake cleanly. So it might be a send if we're not too careful.
The Badger will send it. I've got to say, this track, it's taken a bit to get used to. I think we've all found issues with this circuit. It's a lot of second gear, first gear, third gear, wait a bit. Oh, and then we can put it back.
Yeah, you've got to get the nose in, and by all accounts, it's a bit of an ice rink.
You've got to be patient. You've got to be very patient. Especially through the chicane section there right now, you can't squirt the throttle after that left-hand apex. You've just got to have a little bit of patience before bringing it onto the back straight. Back corner, sorry. Nobody's hit the wall. That's the good thing.
Yet. Yeah, it's a little deep in the background. Carl Wright's absolutely pushing to get on contention with Ant Brown. Ant and Chris is both about a second off of their personal best. So tyres, we're what? Half hour in? And tyres are already...
Yeah, left side tyres here. It's an absolute killer for them. There will be a few teams that are going to push it with a one-stop strategy. But those tyres are just going to be almost on the rims.
It is tricky, yeah. So what are they going to have to get to? An hour and 12 for the halfway point?
Yep, hour and 12 is going to be the halfway.
That's a long time from now if people are already dropping a second.
If your pace is already going after half an hour, that's a lot of time of degradation.
Wrightis at the moment is just heading across the line. He's lost 2 seconds off his delta on that particular lap, so that's a 140.5, and his best is a 38.5.
Wow.
That's going to bring him into the contentions of McGee quite soon, and McGee again towing David round.
Even with the damage that McGee's possibly got from Mr. Wrestle, who has apologised. I had to send an apology on his behalf to Andy Wellborn, McGee's teammate. It's all friendly racing.
Something like that. So
Honestly.
Ant's down to 0.7. off of Christers. So it's sitting about even at the moment.
I think we're lining up McGee here for ascend.
Does look like it. So that inside was fairly well covered. David on the brakes in the background. He's going to have another chunk of that McLaren if he's not too careful.
I may have to go back and just have a small word in his ear. Luckily, he's not racing in Positive Perception colours. Otherwise, I really would be in trouble.
Yeah, it's just a couple of times he's out braking himself, and I don't know if that's familiarity with the circuit or if he's just not able to find a rhythm in that Aston Martin.
David's prep has been minimal.
Well, I think he was warming up his vocal cords still last minute, wasn't he? I think he was going to be doing the commentary.
He was. I think he first turned a lap at about 4 o'clock this afternoon on the circuit.
So 4 hours ago in real time. It's not long compared to some of the others.
Not long at all.
Stefan,
no, I'm going to jump.
Stefan in the chat. Sorry, mate.
Go on. No.
Stefan in the chat. Come on, Ant, you slow old man. Well, Ant's had a few little skirmishes at the moment, and he's fighting the tyres. Currently 0.8 down on Delta.
That's quite a lot, isn't it? This
Well,
stage of the race?
but it's comparable. So first place is half a second off. Second, third, and fourth are all 0.9. Kyle, obviously. Kyle's doing well, only 0.5 off Delta. And then you've got the guys that are further back, not quite on the same pace, and further back around the circuit, so it's not quite comparable yet. 0.6, 0.5, 0.4. So, yeah, as Ant crosses the line, it's 1.2 down on Delta, 37.8, but he has Delta at 36.5, which is pretty damn quick.
That is. That's quicker than I've got around here. Kyle is looking very racy behind him now.
Definitely closing in. It's going to turn Ant's attention from forward to the rear view. I would say rear view mirror, but it's a screen in those, isn't it? Should we go and find out?
Yeah. I've had minimal time in a McLaren. It's not my favourite car.
Yeah, that screen on the dash. You've not got the the Porsche wide ahead, taking a late apex. Actually, that much of an apex, it kicks up some dust. However, like you say, Kyle looking far more composed. Yeah, right up behind that round. For McGee and Rightis. McGee's down the inside. It's that much of a move. There we go. So Alex has sent it down the inside. He's got through cleanly, then held up the beamer on the apex. That's dropped Rightis back towards David. David now all over the back and down the inside. So Rightis losing one, loses a second. That's inconvenienced him to the tune of 1.6 on his Delta, not being able to turn in then. So
absolutely opportunist move by David as well.
Just that run down the inside. He did have that overspeed on Alex on a number of occasions, but Alex just had the legs that it wasn't enough of an overlap like it was that time. I think Alex compromising Rightis on the apex really did hold him back and invite David through. I think Alex would have quite liked to have left a car between the two of them.
I think that was his aim there, to try and get away from that Aston Martin. But unfortunately, David saw the opportunity, took it. Oh, and Ant's ahead. We've missed that one.
So Ant closed in down. We've not missed it. We've got a rewind button.
Here we are. Look at this.
So back down into turn one. Ant's had the overspeed, a better run onto the straight, and he's managed to get past Christers. He's got the car stopped. Nicely done. No opportunity for any cutbacks or sending round the outside.
Absolutely textbook drafting manoeuvre there. Right, I'm going to jump back to Colin, make sure he's not killed the tyres of the Bentley.
Good man. We'll keep an eye.
Later.
Yeah, good man. Definitely jump back in. JP McKinley and Alistair Baldwin were rather close. Baldwin's lost 4-6. Let's go back. So they've been side by side into T1. Sorry, we're seeing it after it's happened. So Alistair down the inside. Doesn't quite get it stopped, runs off the track. Tries to maintain that advantage and does so. They head through the right-hander. JP squeezed onto the curbs. Alistair's wide. Okay, so it's Alistair wide, just tracks onto the gravel. Let's let JP off down the road. And it's John Walker that slipped through as well, so we've seen a couple of opportunist manoeuvres by John Walker, got him up to 7th place. We'll jump back down because Kyle has now not managed to go with Anne. Oh, he has now, sorry. So that's Kyle through on Krista's. That was down into turn 1 as well. We've got a car off. Oh, across the front of someone. That's Craig. So an error by Craig has... What's happened to Craig here then? So he was running around in 2nd. Yeah, number 2 in the windscreen. So Craig's been running around in 2nd. Those tyres just dropping off. He's run out onto the marbles. He's had to wait. So then it's Ant's gone through, and then the battling Kyle and Krista's. He's then trying to get back on. Wow, it's all kicking off at the expense of tyres. Then everyone's quite desperate to do this one-stop strategy. We've not seen anyone in yet. But Craig over-rotating the car. Drops him down to 5th. Krista's trying to hold on. So the lap times last lap were a little off for Krista's. He's dropped down. Kyle was 0.1 faster than that. How is Marcel still lapping 37 dead? He's a second off his delta, which is half a second faster than anyone else. Sorry, Craig actually was 0.3. So Craig's second fastest on the deltas. This battle for second place. Closest stuff we've got on track, pushing wide there. John Walker's now up behind JP. John Walker's done very well at just keeping his nose clean. I know we saw him drive straight on earlier on. But actually, through lack of incident, he's doing very well. In 7th place, we're starting to lose the sun a little bit. We're down to 31 degrees track temp. I believe we started on 33. You've then got David and McGee. John slightly wide. Don't drop it, John. He keeps it settled down. We'll see if John can go after JP a little later on. Just behind them, David's catching up again. We'll just check in with Krista's. He's 0.2 down on Delta, so the Porsche really struggling. You can see it washing wide out of that last turn. Keeps it narrow through the final part, probably because he scrubbed a little speed. Marcel down the front, I believe, is caught up to Not Stiggles. Let's just check in with those guys. I don't think anyone's just swapped. Wow, is that David? Oh, David's very, very late on the brakes, multiple occasions. Very, very brave. Ant says thank you regarding... See you in the chat, Matt. Let's just have a quick rundown then. So Marcel puts a move on Colin Dunn, so that's 12th, 13th and 14th, all a lap down now. Very, very impressive drive by Marcel so far. It's then Ant Brown who's got this whole last section to do. Ant looking fairly composed. Kyle's come through with Ant. 0.1 off of Ant on the last time of asking, but I fear this time, for Ant's sake, that Kyle will have closed the gap. So it was just over a second. It is now 0.9 and that lap 0.1 better for Kyle. Then it's Krista's, Craig, JP has now got a John Walker all over the back of him. John a little compromised on the way in there. Running right out onto the dirt, that was 0.4, so John's having a really, really good battle up to 7th, potentially looking at getting 6th at the moment. Remember, these guys want us one stop, will want to make the halfway point, and that'll be 1 hour and 12 minutes. John, a very narrow line, holds the narrow line though, so I think that might just be how he elects to take that corner. Hugs the curb, runs it out to the bump, was 0.7. It's now 0.6. Last lap was 0.4 faster. Further back, David is all over the back of McGee to the tune of 0.5. John appears to be in quite a rhythm at the moment. Able to hold that narrow line, that McLaren washing slightly wide. Just looking a little more composed at the moment. Narrow line in, a little touch of the curb. Pushes out wide, no one pushing too wide though, so that is good. Doesn't look like the send is going to occur this time. Further back, we've got David all over the back of Alex again. Narrower line in, bounce over the curb, so not the standout opportunity that is needed so far. I think a number of drivers are going to give in and move to a 2-stop. They need to do it sooner rather than later because each driver is losing about a second, and they've been doing that for the last probably 8 laps. Well, that's 8 seconds towards a comeback drive if you can make it worth it. David out wide, heads towards the wall as Mark said. Are we going to see anyone hit the wall? John's 0.2 away. We'll just stick with this battle for the moment. I do wonder if Alex is driving slightly with his eyes in the mirrors, having been hit twice. Here's John Walker down there, going to be in a position to strike David with a very good run there. We'll just watch John Walker. No, he's not been able to strike on JP just yet. And that run not converted for David at the moment. Carl Wright's closing right up onto Ant Brown. Stefan, I see you in the chat. It looks like Ant's going to be getting pressure from behind before he gets a chance to attack. You just got to hope that Marcel doesn't have the pit stop he needs, but at the moment he's chucking 37.3s out when everyone else is 37.7, 37.5. He's not stretched his legs any further, but 25 seconds to the good up front. This could be the one for Alex. That was a good run. He then gets a little bit of a better run on Alistair Baldwin. He shows his nose early to the inside. Alistair's not electing to defend just yet. He's going to get a bit of that slipstream, but still just showing his nose. He moves out. We're going to hit the braking point. How are the tyres? Are they going to give him the stopping power that he needs? They both brake comparable. Alex goes a little deeper. Alistair looks for the long way round, but it's not quite there. Alistair then has to back out. Let's compromise David. David this time not able to make the leap when Alex has done as well in front. So now Alistair under pressure from the Aston Martin. He's going to have to cover the inside, otherwise David will go for it. He left half a gap. David shoved his nose down the inside, muscles Alistair wide. This is allowing Alex to run away further forwards as we break the timing beacon there. It moves Alex ahead. Alistair now holding up David. So Alistair's half defended. Where do you take the white line? I think the whole road is available just there. So David not making a move that time. Out into the S-bends we go. Unsettled Audi leads. Frustrated Aston Martin. Out onto the banking. More composed for David. He's got his nose down the inside. This looks like move done. A door bang. Alistair turns in. David struggles to get the car stopped, but they're both through side by side. That Audi's still down the inside. They've managed that side by side. David all over the curbs. Can the Audi hang it a long way around? No, the tyres aren't there. We're onto the marbles with sideways, but thankfully not into the wall. So Alistair has to finally give up that position. And the Audi is down to 10th. So further forward, those guys are considerable distance behind now. Further forward, we've now got Kyle eyeing up Outbrand. Who? Even I want to listen to that. Eyeing up Ant Brown. Oh, he's massively sideways though, so Kyle keen on the power. Everyone now trying to eke out these cars. Ant breaking the toe. There's a blue flag in the background. I believe that's Fabian. So Kyle now having to be patient. We know the tyres aren't there, but it will be the same for everyone. Unless you're Marcel. Mind you, Marcel now 0.6 off of his time. No one been brave enough to try the two-stop, which is a little bit of a shame. But they will have worked out how long these pit stops take. It obviously mathematically doesn't stack up. Although I'm guessing a few people here would like a bit of clean air. Stick with me, folks, we're not even an hour in yet. So currently this is your closest battle on track. We have Kyle Wright in the SWMD Ajax Racing Enduro Team BMW M4 chasing down Ant Brown, back marker Bentley. There's Colin just trying to keep out the way of the Ant Brown SAR Slip Boys. Hybrid livery. Far more confident heading down into turn 1 for the Beamer. Briefly ride on board. Sideways out the tyre, trying to nurse the tyres, but we know the McLaren ahead will be doing exactly the same thing. Track temp now down to 30, so some adjustment will need to come in the pit stop. 3-degree variance will mandate you run some different tyre pressures. So compromised pressures combined with a huge amount of wear. Car unsettled massively by that bump as well, so it's one to be avoided. You hear the tyres scrubbing there, not enjoying themselves. So time's on 1:33. We're going to need another 11 minutes out of these tyres. We're doing 1:37, so still a fair bit more pain to put the cars through just yet. I wonder if it will come into play and we will see issues starting to arise. You hear the hesitation of the traction control. The drivers may be increasing that just to keep the cars under wraps. Way out to the wall for Kyle. see if we can steal Ross. Let's go and watch John first. So John up to 7th and now chasing down JP McKinley. We saw him have a little battle earlier on. Hi Ross, we'll steal you for a bit of an interview.
How's it going, buddy? Alright?
Yeah, it's looking decent so far. We've got, what, 20 minutes? I don't know why I said 11 minutes earlier on, but we've got 20 minutes until the halfway point.
Yeah, we're going to be close on having to fuel a second stop, but we think we might make it now, so...
So is John fuel saving or is he full drive?
We were initially, and then we were losing like a second a lap, so we thought, well, if we were losing a second a lap, we just as well go full tilt and then splash and dash at the last minute if we have to.
Makes sense. I'm surprised actually, a number of cars are losing like 1.5 seconds a lap just on circuit at the moment, be that through tyres or being backed off slightly.
Yeah, John's tyres has just started going off now, so...
Yeah, I'm not surprised a few more have jumped and turned it into a 2-stopper, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I don't know if that influences any decisions at all for you, but holding well in 7th. I know a couple have had some misfortunes, but John's put in a really strong stint.
Yeah, John's done really well. He's done a few minor hiccups, but apart from that, he's cracked on. Yeah, hopefully we can get a good second stint in, but he's actually quicker than me tonight, so...
Yeah, we've lost 3 degrees out of track temperature as well, if that makes any difference to your tyre change.
Yeah, I think we'll just drop the pressure, increase the pressures a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we look forward to seeing the pit stop. We look forward to seeing you on track, and hopefully you can bring that car home in 7th or try and push a little further. So
yeah, fingers crossed, mate. Yeah.
Good luck to you. Cheers for hopping in a minute. So, as we suspected, some of the tyres starting to struggle on. I don't know where I got 11 minutes. I think I was counting up or something dumb. Yeah, so we've got to get to that 1 hour 12 before we're halfway. It's a long old session this evening. Let me know in the chat anyone you want to ride on board with, if you want to see any of the driver cams going on. There's the number 5 Not Stiggles Porsche dives out the way. JP McKinley leading John Walker through. Looks like David is closing back in onto the Alex McGee McLaren. So we know the McLaren is strong enough for the 1 stop. John Walker off circuit. No, we've just been complimenting him. He's over rotated the car. He's clipped a bit of the curb. Oh, so soon after compliments. Oh, David, where's David going? David is attacking. So John coming back on circuit, looks like it's given David the opportunity. David goes deep, Alex back through. It's going to be a sweep in. David comes from quite a way back, has to drop back in line. So as far as he's gone up, he's gone back down again. Cracking battle here. John's lost 10 seconds. So although he does maintain that 7th, his 10 seconds to the good was has swiftly brought him back under fire. Stefan, we will watch from Kyle's point of view in a moment. We'll just see how this unfolds. Jan, we see you in the chat as well. Fabian doing a good job. Absolutely is. It looks like he's struggling on tyres a little bit. He's currently 2 seconds off his own delta. So that Porsche looks like it's begging for a fresh set of tyres. Alistair Baldwin. No. Wait, that Porsche's got to... it's 21. Sorry. Is that Marcel? Oh my goodness, that is Marcel. So the 21. Sorry, I thought it said 27. Marcel is now lapping 9th, 10th, no, 9th, 8th and 7th. That's a huge lead. 30 seconds. Kyle's not far off the back of Ant. No, he's really close. So they've got a decent gap there. So McGee lets the leader through. John's now got to pick the right point. Porsche versus Porsche. They'll be very matched down the straight. David very keen, unwinding the steering. So it's David with a glance to the inside. Alex closing up on the leader, but a lap down. John's then holding up the... Oh! David's run into the back. Oh no. That's the third time. Alex continues on into the path of Alistair. I thought that was going to be a quit. David going slow again. Well, you heard Mark say Dave's not had a huge amount of practice. He spent... I fear if there's much more contact, that'll be the last we see of Alex at the moment. That has, however, let Alistair Baldwin through, so he'll be rubbing his hands together, and it's pressure off again for John. There we go. Christers is the first to bail. We've seen it. So this looks like it'll be converted to a two-stop, because we are not quite at that halfway stage. We're about 14 minutes early. So 14 minutes early, Chris is into the pit. JP McKinley comes across the start-finish line. John Walker out through that last section. Here we may be seeing a continuation of this battle as Alex and David fall further and further down the field. I think it's only the fact that they're so desperate to do the one stop in the McLaren that they've carried on, otherwise they would have found some clean air where they were less at risk. Kyle and Ant not too far, they're just coming down that start-finish straight. Let's get that on board for you, Stefan. Feint to the inside for Kyle. Onto the brakes, through T1 we go. Just a little more of the nose on the BMW, able to make that apex. Let's see how they just slide quite neutrally across the road. It looks like the front and the back letting go simultaneously. Keeps it a little narrower and fades wide and comes back. Kyle able to hug that inside line. We're down to point 2. A good run out onto the back straight. Let's see. There's your driver. This is what we want. This is the dash cam view. Just watch how this Beamer acts compared to the McLaren. I know there's not a huge overspeed. David Russell is through on McGee, so that hopefully settles down for a moment. Much bigger chunk of that apex. Don't know where you stand on track limits there. I don't know if Ant's shying away. Is this a dive down the inside? An overlap, so Kyle really trying to pick his time. Ant's gone a little deep, but he can carry the speed with it. Now then, varying lines we've seen this evening through this left-hander. Yeah, it's not too huge, and hug the right-hand side. Make sure you don't wash out up the bank too early. A little earlier for Kyle, and it's given Ant a good run. So Ant seems to have the measure of Kyle through that last sector out onto the straight. But as we head down into turn 1, we know that Kyle probably will close up under braking, make a slightly more aggressive apex. The change of direction good. A little wide out there, so probably carrying a little too much, a little too eager onto the back of Ant. Maybe that the cars have gone through the graining phase. You can't hear too much scrubbing of the tyres. Seems quite neutral through there. The steady application of the throttle, getting it carried through the left-hander. go onto the back straight, and Ant's had a good run through there. So it's like Kyle can attack in waves, like the McLaren's go through waves as well. David on Baldwin, Alex McGee dropped back off of David Russell. So David now going after the Audi, and John's got that breathing room of 7.5 seconds at the moment. So John, after that earlier unforced error, able to maintain. We're now 10 minutes off of the halfway point where we're going to start seeing more and more bails. Some will try and push it past, so they've got a shorter final stint. You'll also have some people using faster drivers as Ant's gone deep. It's the opportunity Carl's been waiting for. They're still alongside. No, he's not. He's got it cleared. So Kyle, nice and patient in the BMW, nice and composed. Ant pushes on in the McLaren, and that's the BMW up through into second place. But the gap from first to second, 30 seconds. An absolutely huge gap. David has now passed Alistair. Let's go back 30 seconds. So David had a good run out onto the back straight. There we go. So David's had a good run. Does he get it done cleanly in the braking zone, or are they going to try and head too wide? He brakes later, slightly deeper borderline on the white line, but up and through okay. That's left Alistair compromised slightly, but Alex not close enough to do anything with it on that time of asking, actually out onto the marbles slightly. I can't see who has pitted, unfortunately. So I'm not able to confirm. All I can confirm I can't confirm anything. I don't know who's changed. Rightis in the BMW into the pits as well. Here comes a run. So McGee now attacking Baldwin. You see the BMW of Rightis in the background. I should have had a tick sheet really. Does he get it stopped? He does indeed. So braking earlier. Blocks then that cutback. Heads on through. So back up to 8th position. We'll see how quickly or not David can catch up to John Walker. And we'll see when those elect to pit. Craig, first of the real front runners into the pits. So we'll see how that drops him out into people that are still running on the older tyres. Obviously it may not be Craig, it'll be the next driver. Or it still shows as Craig, who knows? Who knows? Where's Marcel? Marcel comes through again. Another lap, or not quite another lap. No, that's a lap on Craig, so he's now lapped up to 5th place. JP McKinley just ahead of him there in the McLaren. In 4th is the next to be lapped. I think the guys will be wanting to leave Marcel until the end of the race. He's doing 37.6s. He's 1.6 off his best. So these guys really trying to push the tyres to an hour and 8, isn't it? An hour and 12. An hour and 12 is a stint. Wide for JP. Just about getting it stopped. Porsche tracking him through. We've got another car to the pits. So a number of guys bailing on that one stop. Fabian jumps in, so that'll be Jan into the car. I think JP's just trying to get out of the way, but Marcel wants every bit of slipstream he can get. Track now down to 29, so again you're going to want to leave as late as you can for that progression. It's Nat Shirley in the Beamer. Good to see Nat in and racing, and there's John looking to get through. John to the inside, gets that move done on that. John now running in 5th. He'll be keen to make as many moves forward as he can. So Craig's done his pit stop, and it is Craig that continues to drive. But we know Nat is very, very quick, and he won't be happy about being behind John. Nat will be on that new rubber. John going defensive, holds him narrow. Lapping versus unlapping. I think they are entitled to race as they are. David now trying to catch up John as well. Nat may be slightly frustrated by this because he's fresh into the car. He's got a fresh car when it's potentially at its fastest, and he's behind John, who's currently 3 seconds off of his delta. I'd hope John just lets him go. Don't hold him too narrow, John. Just try and go with him. Oh no! Nat's tried to come across too early. He's hit into John. John's not sacrificed that. We've now got 2 cars stricken in the track. Oh, Alistair's managed to try and go down the inside of John. That car is absolutely ruined. There's another yellow flag further back. So yeah, that's Nat and Alistair. That's 3 cars, all with quite heavy damage. Nat was in a fresh car. That's not what you want to see. The guy's battling quite hard. John compromised on tyres. Unfortunate to see, so that's going to upset quite a few people. That's another one for the stewards. It's going to give some opportunity to the guys that were running a little further back. Now then, Kyle is lapping the same as Ant at the moment. Their last laps are 0.005 apart, but Ant is looking a little more confident on this lap. Is it a last minute switch around at the top? We're only 2 minutes away from that halfway point. John Walker down to 9th from 5th. You've also got Krista's up through to 8th again in the Porsche. So some real upset. Craig, after his pit stop, onto the back of McGee, who's yet to stop. We've not seen Wellborn get in that car just yet. A wobble there for Kyle, but more planted for Ant. Does give Ant a run onto the straight, and in a car that's renowned for its straight line pace since recent patches. Ant looks to the inside. Is he going to send it? No, Ant knows better than that. So John Walker into the pits now, but he's going to have to sort out the damage in that car. Nat Shirley back in. Alistair Baldwin forced in as well, having got that damage. So they will be compromised in the duration of their stops. We'll see how it compares later on. So the number 69 car of Krista's just behind. So that's fresh tyres, able to attack. Celtic Bromance, number 69 car, sorted in the pits. It's fresh tyres. His last lap well in the 37s, whereas these guys are battling down in the 39s, trying to get to the halfway point. Ant picks his battles very well, finds an opportunity. Finds an opportunity to let the Porsche through without compromising too much. His time will come. They will pick the moment. Marcel to the pits, so he's timed it for nigh on halfway. He knows they'll be able to get to the end. So the SAR car that has been so dominant so far. Down to third as the guys go through, so he'd been in quite a while. Alistair with the damaged car heads out just ahead of Chris Rock, who takes over our lead car. So Kyle Wright just ahead of Ant Brown and Krista's. You've also got Eurus taking over the car from Alistair. So Alistair, was forced in to take his stop. He hadn't stopped at the time of the contact. Looks like the damage hasn't been fixed on the Audi either, which is either a bold decision or they're just seeing how it handles on a fresh set. A lowercase Ross Parker brings out the damaged Porsche after that contact with Nat Shirley earlier on, and Nat Shirley back out on circuit, having repaired that damage, been out and got that BMW looking repaired. So yeah, Ross with the damaged car and Eurus with the damaged Alistair car. JP McKinley into the pits. We've also got Alex McGee in, so the McLaren's pushing it past the halfway point to get in stopped and fresh tyres. And Brown in as well, so all three McLarens choosing to box at the same time. Line them up, boys. There you go. Right, McLaren earning their money. So Kyle out front at the moment. He's got that Celtic Bromance car tucked up behind him. Kyle will be struggling on the tyres. He's in the 38s. Let's get a wider camera set. The pressure of the Porsche. The wise move may be to take the pressure off and just let the Porsche through. But who wants to do that? We're racing. Porsche, huge overspeed, the sniff of the inside line, and all it would take was a little more braking from the Beamer or not backing out by the Porsche, and that would have ended in tears. So Kyle potentially needing to pick his battles here, but these guys love racing. So we see Wellborn into the car and Matty Zenko into the car. The Porsche looks to the inside. Is this going to be the lap for Kyle to pit? It is not. He continues on. David Resso in the pits as well. Wellborn is on his way out of the pits. Can the Porsche make it through this time? This should be the one. So Krista's unlaps himself from 5th as Kyle soldiers on in the M4. Chris Rock takes over from Marcel. He's not that far back, so we'll take the lead position back. You've then got Eurus ahead in that damaged Audi. How's he getting on? He's only done his outlap so far, which was a 2:06. We'll see how he fares across the line as the blue flag waves. Not too compromised down the straight. Eurus did a 39.5, so not quite where you'd expect him to be, but Chris Rock 39.6 is a bit tucked up behind the Audi at the moment. And just for perspective, Matty Zenko brings the ex-Ant Brown McLaren out the final turn. Yeah, indeed, Stefan. Let's see how your brother practiced for this. So the Chris Rock lead car is in the 39s. That was an outlap from Matty. He also did a 204. I know we've seen one of those outlaps earlier on. But Matty's got Craig for company. Craig pushing a little deep, having a battle with Andy Wellborn, who is a lap down at the moment, but perfectly entitled if he's quicker to have a go. But that looks like Craig up and through. So absolutely, Stefan, we're going to see how Matty's practice. We'll see how his pace compares to Craig. Craig's been in the car for a while now. Looks like he's double stinting it. Kyle heads into the pits as well, so you should see places starting to settle down now. Christers has stopped as well. I think Kyle will be the final car to stop. Nat Shirley's about a minute off of Ross Parker down the back as well, so Nat not really having the start that he needed. That contact with John, and Ross is so far down, having had to stop and get that car fixed. So here's Matty. Let's see what his lap time is. Out onto the start-finish straight. You've got Chris Rock down the front doing 39.3s. Matty's done a 37.3. So the best that car's done is the 36.5. So still finding his feet at the moment, but into the 37s. Craig behind has done a 36.8. Out of the pits comes number 49. Kyle Wright, so that's a battle for position. Kyle stayed out a long time and he's eager to get straight past Matty, so if Matty thought he had a bit of breathing room, he definitely hasn't. We're straight into a fight out of the pit lane. Doesn't want to damage the tyres in that BMW, but pressure is on for Matty. So another single driver entry by the looks of it for Kyle. Absolutely harassing Matty out the box, and we've got a 3-car battle. Jamie Buchanan in the chat. Welcome in, come on wrestle. Yeah, he's got a bit of breathing room at the moment, and that might do him a bit of good. No disrespect, but he's had 4 bits of contact that we've seen on stream this evening. So, and an admission from Mark that he's only had 4 hours practice. So, or first turn to wheel 4 hours before the race. So, yeah, he's certainly been in the wars, but 8th overall at the moment is fair for David. We'll see how his lap times compare to Wellborn as he finishes this lap. 38 for Wellborn, just behind. There he is. Oh, no, not just behind. There's a group of 3 cars in the middle. Wellborn is currently 0.8 faster, so we'll see how that 12-second gap comes down, and if Andrew has to deal with those cars just ahead of him, which are of course Mazenko in second, Mark in the chat, at a festival and I'm watching this, I lost it. Yeah, well, welcome in. Don't forget, if you guys are just watching where you've come out of cars, or Mark, you've just given us a shout, please hit the thumbs up. If we start getting suggested on some sim racing pages, or, you know, people that like sim racing, if we get into the algorithm, that'd be absolutely fantastic. We probably won't now that I've said the word algorithm, but there you go. So Matty leading Kyle and Craig at the moment. It looks like Kyle's just got to get the car up to pace. And Brown in the chat, yo, fair stint from you, Ant. There was some good battles shown there. Stiggles into the pit. So, Stiggles and Colin. So Colin from 6th in the Bentley now pit. So I think these are the final guys to pit. Sorry, Colin was doing rather well. So that we will see Mr. Raddenbury go into the Bentley, and I'm not sure who is taking over the not Stiggles car off the top of my head. That'll be Jake Jenkins going into that car. Right, back out on track because there's not much overtaking going on in the pits. So Craig currently fourth, all over the back of Kyle at the moment, almost has to turn out of that move. How are the PositiveSlipBois boys doing? So Colin and Mark are currently dropping down the field because they're in the pits. They were running further back. Don't know who else. Jenny keeps calling Matt. So Raddenbury is into that number 9 car, or the 9th place car, sorry, the 750 car. I think Craig's just able to put a bit of pressure on Kyle at the moment. Just getting up to speed. Craig already been out on circuit for a little bit longer. He's the only car running in 36s at the moment. Chris Rock getting up to speed is 38.6. Then you've got Matty and Kyle both sharing 37.1s. And then yeah, Craig's come in with a 36.7, so absolutely flying. Stop and go 30 for Raddenbury. Oh no, so speeding in the pit lane, whether it was Colin on the way in or Mark on the way out, that's gonna hurt those guys and that's gonna push them. Oh, Kyle goes deep off onto the grass. Can Craig take the opportunity? Goes for a cutback and that means he takes a fair bit of grass, but it looks like Kyle's able to square the car up and get on the power. Does take pressure off of Matty for a moment. Look at that gap. That was a second gap off the back of Matty. I'd suspect it's a little more now. Yeah, 1.8, so he's nearly doubled his advantage as Craig's going to have to go defensive. No, Craig's not going defensive. Craig's going on the attack. Craig is down the inside of Kyle. Kyle hangs it round the long way. Gets out onto the marbles, but stays ahead. Leaves the door open for the right-hander, but Craig not taking it on that opportunity. So they've had a little battle. The positions haven't swapped, but Matty with a bit of breathing room off down the road in his McLaren. As the sun's dropping, we're down to 28 degrees. That's the inside line for Craig, but not able to carry the speed and not risk washing wide into the door of his BMW colleague, friend, acquaintance, whatever they are. Down into the braking zone. Every opportunity is an attack. Craig's thought about it. It's half an overlap. Kyle carries the speed, but it's another compromise line. Matty's going to be loving this, and you're going to be loving this too, Stefan. This is what you want to see. Matty able to break away. They are able to have this battle because 5th place is 13 seconds back. But it's not going to aid them in moving forward. It's the squabble of the Beamers over the final podium position. Mark Raddenbury in the pits for that stop and go. A massive sideways moment for Kyle. You don't want to do that to the tyres this early on. We've just dipped under an hour to go with 30 seconds to the good. Underneath that hour mark, I've got to keep talking for one more hour and then possibly some interviews afterwards, but we'll see how it goes. Cheers guys in the chat. So down the inside goes Craig. Let's go off board. Kyle able to maintain that pace around the outside so he doesn't just roll over and let Craig through. As soon as the nose is down the inside, he's fighting out. I believe that's Andrew Wellborn in the Hot Wheels car just behind, so he's going to want to unlap himself as well. He's trying to go after Dave Russell. How do their times compare? Andrew is slightly faster than Dave. Excuse me, at this stage. Out wide for Kyle, so the front end pushing on slightly, so he's had some oversteer, he's had some understeer. At what point do you say, you know what, my car's not where I need it, I'll just try and go with you and attack you again at the moment, or in a moment. It's not how these guys race though, they are pushing every moment. fairly equally. And he's going to hope this squabbling's done by the time he's in with a chance to send one down the inside, because he is going to want to unlap himself. We know Andy's relatively quick. He says he's not where he wants to be in the GT3s, but at the moment he has got good pace. Chris Rock has a lead of 24 seconds, so that's come down. We saw it was 30 odd at the start, or before the pit stops. Matty could be in with a chance to attack. So Nat Shirley's made it up past Stiggles, who had to do his stop after Nat Shirley did. Mark Roddenberry 10 seconds ahead, so will come under attack fairly soon based on the lap times. Looks like Kyle's just settled the car down a bit, he's able to go with it. Craig's opportunity not quite there at the moment, so we continue on. There's some battles further ahead, not exactly for position at the moment, so this is your closest battle for an actual position, but it'll be as these places unravel later on. Ross Parker coming under attack from Euros. Ross has lost some time. 4.4 lost on this lap. Two cars that came together earlier on. We might see some more battles. Keep an eye on that gap, it was down to 0.5. Loving the commentary, great job. Thank you very much, Jamie. It was a last minute decision to do it. There was lots of discussions beforehand on who was doing which type of commentary and who was broadcasting, and if I'm about, I like to just jump in the seat and talk over what I'm seeing. So yeah, the opportunity came up. I was about today, hopefully I'm about for the next ones. Yeah, it's good to see a few more people in. I know it's a wider community racing this evening, the three communities coming together to provide the entertainment. So, no, thank you for the compliment, and it's good to see so many people in the chat. Right, Euros not quite able to attack at the moment. Craig looks like he's coming back at Kyle. So, on that last lap, Kyle was faster by 0.2, but already 0.3 off his delta on this time of asking. Craig not really showing any signs of attacking at the moment. A bounce over the curb, that's an interesting place to put your nose. Yes, he's going to have to back out of that one. You have to have a massive overspeed to be able to send it down the inside just there. So thankfully things better of that move. Andrew will be rubbing his hands together just ahead. Matty is moving past Euros. Hopefully Euros finds his braking marker. No, he doesn't. He rams Matty in the back. You almost saw that one coming. I'm not psychic, I just say what I see. So a bump in the back, hopefully not any damage for Matty. But
That
wrist,
made me jump.
yeah, I bet it did.
Good afternoon.
Good evening, how are we?
I'm very well. Well, after recovering from that minor heart attack I just had there, I had it on my stream as well.
It was
In the car, and it was a little bit nerve-wracking. I'm glad Matt's recovered. He's probably swearing to himself in the chat though, realising that I'm no longer there.
Yeah, the Kyle and Craig battle is giving Matty some breathing room, and he's in the last 3 laps closed in 2 seconds on the lead.
Yes. Yeah, so looking at the delta, we're definitely catching the leader.
Second a lap, 24 laps. We're side by side, so Euros is in the way. Oh no!
Oh my word.
Side by side, so Euros is out onto the marbles and driven off the circuit. Side by side, Kyle's bumped doors with Craig on the way in. There's some hazard lights flashing. I don't know if that's a sorry, but I'm running. Let's just grab a quick 30 seconds on that. So the guys are battling through, and as you expect, a back marker has seen them coming. Let's go for a chase cam. So Craig's onto the right hand side as Kyle's compromised. A little bump of the doors on the way in.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of a slide from one of the BMWs that managed to cause contact. Trying to get round the Audi.
Yeah, Kyle will have. Craig will have got into ABS, being offsettled on the way in, and out onto the marbles. So, bit of breathing room for Kyle. Matty's got his breathing room. Now Craig has to regroup. Andrew Wellborn looking to unlap himself. but has to try and do it cleanly with a clear speed advantage.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite tricky. Andrew's battling the cars that you'd wanted to, but unfortunately a lap down at the moment.
And is he a lap down from Dave Russell? No, he's 11 seconds. So that would be a good battle. So Dave Russell, we know, is fairly quick.
Yeah, so he's closing in on Dave.
Yeah, they're probably very similar speed. So it'd be interesting to see if he catches up, and if so, if he can pass. We know Andy's clean as a whistle with his racing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a shame they are so far down. We saw contact earlier on. You never like to see that, especially 4 times over, but the guys were so keen to do that one stop, they just persisted in the battles that they were in. I'm very shocked that no one has, or some people haven't done an early 2-stop. It looks like people have had to just give up and bail on that first stint, and it looks like they're going to struggle to get to the end.
Yeah, the one-stop strategy here is actually fairly difficult, and I'm surprised the likes of the Porsche are doing quite well. The BMW is strong in that respect. You should be able to do a one-stop. McLaren is very hit and miss, so you have to fuel save, but just a little bit to get past that halfway mark.
Yeah, which you guys have managed to do, but some people got like within 10 minutes of halfway and then had to pit. Whereas
10 minutes is a long way.
It's a long way by the time you're at the end and you're thinking, blimey, I'm 20 minutes short.
Yeah.
It's concerning.
But it was like that in the Audi in the last series we had here, the Audi Evo. It was probably 10 minutes a stint shorter than something like the Aston.
Yeah, whereas people were about 2 seconds off the lap time. So I think if you had to double stop anyway, by the time your tyres had dropped off to that extent, probably 20 minutes before the end of the stint, I'd have jumped in. So you did.
Yeah, the pit lane here is nearly a lap. If you do tyres and fuel, 30-second stop,
Yeah.
and the pit lane length itself and the way it comes out into T1, it's like a minute, about 90 seconds, like start to finish.
Absolutely.
Which is quite long,
but
with the shorter stop, yeah.
If you've got to do 2, you'd rather have the best out of the tyres rather than now when they're doing 2, they're going to have about a 20-minute sprint at the end on brand new ones where they could have been having the good 35-40 minutes where the tyre is workable. So a couple of interesting points. I think people will take the information from this race forwards into the next one,
which is a 1 hour sprint, I believe.
Is the next one a 1 hour sprint? Well, they won't take anything from it, they'll just send it.
Let me find out for you.
If it's a 1 hour sprint, how are you going to do that with 2 drivers? You might as well just send one guy.
Mandatory pit, isn't it? So you have to swap driver.
Right, okay.
Oh, no, sorry. I apologise. Next one's Bathurst, 2 hours. So that leveled the playing field in terms of fuel consumption a little bit.
Yeah, so it will be a clear one stop.
Yeah, and the 1 hour sprint round is the next one, at Alton Park.
Right, I'm sure. So there's a right mix in this series. That's good to see. Craig starting to close back up. He's done a 36.9, currently the fastest car on track. Matty's last lap was a 37.8. Chris Rock down the front, 38.4. So only 0.6 to the good this time for Matty.
Yeah, the pace also, the 3-lap pace is slowed considerably, but Kyle Wright is catching Matt by about a 10th a lap. So hopefully that will just maintain that gap, hopefully. Come on, Matt. I better go and give him a pep talk.
Oh, Kyle's wide. I don't know if you've gone or not.
No, I'm still here.
Okay. Kyle out wide, so he's having to push, and I think he will be getting more pressure from Craig potentially before he gets to Matty, but he's definitely going to be trying to close in on Matty. That last lap, he took 0.8 out of him.
Yeah, that would be a right old ding-dong. Looking forward to seeing that. And I had a really good race with Kyle on the first stint. Just really respectful and clean and just generally nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was tough though, it made me sweat for it.
There's a couple of 3-second gaps around the circuit as a Porsche gets out of the way. I believe that's Stiggles.
It's not Stiggles.
It's not Stiggles.
Not Stiggles, apparently. Anyway,
I did
I'm
see
going to.
his actual name on the entry list, but I don't think he's ever
Yeah.
ever said it anywhere. So I believe not Stiggles as being not Stiggles. Yeah, if you need to go back to Matty, then thanks for dropping in. Feel free to drop in later on, and we will.
Sure.
continue
Thanks
to watch
very
this
much,
battle.
Tom.
Good
Keep
man.
up good work too.
I'll try.
Right.
Out through the right-hander we go. We saw the dust kicked up. Kyle pushes wide down the inside. Craig doesn't need asking twice. Kyle turns in anyway. They swap places and go again. So that turn in just onto that rear quarter will have straightened Craig's car up, not let him turn in for the right-hander, and that's what would have pushed him wide. A little bit of scrubbing on the tyres might have induced a little more heat, and he just has to back off. This will be breathing room for Matty because they've lost 1.6, 1.7 off of their deltas at the moment. Anyone else close? David Wrestle closing in on JP McKinley. Go and see them for a minute. This is a really good battle though, so I will keep an eye. Where's JP? So they are the two ahead of the battle that we were watching, and then Wellborn's just behind. Wellborn on that last lap, 38.1, so he has got a pace advantage over JP and David just at the moment, so it's going to take a little while for this to unfold. We're going to have Kyle and Craig either having to come through this battle or letting Andrew through before we can see the fight. So it's all going to concertina up. There's Matty in the mix as well. He's got to come past these guys, but not with a huge overspeed at the moment. 37.2 for Matt on that last time of asking, so he has improved. He has picked up and he has improved that gap by 1.4. So as we were saying, Matty was potentially in a little bit of trouble. He's now not. He's got that greater pace. Through the final complex. JP just appearing to have the measure over David at the moment. So we'll watch him head through. How's that lead gap looking? Chris Rock, 38.1, so not quite on the pace of Matty at the moment. Matty crosses the line 37.5, so that's 0.6 taken out. We're down to 17 seconds. Craig looks like he's in a place to strike again. A little more composed through this early part of the lap. See how they take opposing lines into the left, so he cuts back a lot earlier. There's a first apex, so that closes in. They both dip in for a second apex, but Kyle ahead, just able to carry a little bit more speed. Out onto the back straight. Do we push for the grass? Not quite, a bit more measured that time. we make it round for another lap. 0.6 apart this time. Andrew Wellborn just in the background. 38.1, so he's just off the pace of these guys now, not able to sustain what we saw earlier on. So that will be interesting to see where that falls out in comparison to David Ressel and JP McKinley. JP sideways in the McLaren ahead. David sideways in the McLaren behind, the Aston Martin behind. Conscious that we've got the Beamers battling in the background, so nothing at the moment just there. Craig not looking this time. He's just got the overspeed in the wrong place to get past Kyle at the moment. McLaren's good onto the straight. Can David get past JP? Matty's not far off of these guys, so he's going to need to make a move and get past. Oh, JP deep in the McLaren. The Aston of Dave looks to go the long way round, not able to do it. He's going to hold a tight line. JP out wide for the switchback, turns in, but now there's an Aston Martin there. So David up and through into 6th place. So he's able to try and run away from Wellborn, who isn't far behind. But there's another McLaren, Matty Zenko, closing in. He's back down into the 37s. Carl Wright, 0.1 faster on that last lap. So Matty needs to try and break away from 3rd and 4th. He has to come through this field sooner rather than later. He has got a good overspeed. He's about a second or two faster than the cars ahead each lap. So the blue flags will be shown. Matty carrying a lot more speed in. The other McLaren letting him through. There we go. So Matty's got 1 place made up, only lost about half a second in doing so. He's broken JP off the back of David Ressel. David's down the road, but it's great for Matty. He needs to clear 1 car at a time. How does it look on the last lap? Chris Rock 38.5, Matty 37.6, so that's another second gone. We're looking at a second lap. He needs 16 seconds. JP a little deep. Ross Parker was right on the back of Euros. There he is. Euros in the Audi a little wide, so Ross is to the inside. It'll be the inside for the next. Can he get it out across the front? He does. So that's move done for Ross Parker against Euros in the Audi. He's now got quite the gap to go chasing down. So 30-something second gap to try and close down now. So Ross out and away in 10th. We said the sun would go down. We're down to 27 degrees. The wind has picked up, but our half-hour forecast, that's all we get. In 8 minutes, will see us through to the end. And I do not believe it's going to rain. The sky looking quite neutral. No sign of any clouds. Craig to the outside. Can he do what Carl's done and carry this pace around the outside? Kyle, good speed through the inside, tries to keep his nose alongside. A little tap of the rear bumper, Craig squeezes him. Up we go, so that's Craig through, past Kyle for third place. Now what does this do? Already able to pull a gap, so good speed off the corner. Now we've got a back marker in the form of JP McKinley. You've got Wellborn not too far behind who needs to get past JP. And you've got Matty Zenko just down the road as well. So a number of overlapping cars. We're going to have quite the fight going on. Craig really needs to clear JP cleanly in a decent place on the track. Looks like it might happen towards the start-finish straight. Oh, JP a little offline. It's compromised Craig a little through there. JP fades to the inside, eases off, so brilliant bit of driving by JP. Kyle's going to come through as well, forces the issue, brakes late on an inside line, chucks the Beamer down the inside. Potentially did that a little quicker than Craig did, but let's see what the gap does as we head across the start line. It was 0.8. Matty's getting rather close to David Russell as well. Across the line, the gap was a second. Hi Paul, see you in the chat. Nice to see you in. I hope the housework's going okay. It's a shame to not see you on track, but thank you for joining us in the stream. Don't forget to hit that like button. We'll see how many we can get with the 3 communities coming together. So we've had some ups and downs, some door bashing and knock-in. We've got quite a mix of cars. Wellborn's a lap down, but he's in with this pack. So JP McKinley, the McLaren you see just behind these 2 cars, is then going to be fighting with Andrew Wellborn in a moment, but they are 7th and 8th, whereas you were just looking at 3rd and 4th. Matty Zenko down front. He was only 0.1 faster on that last lap than Chris Rock, so he's now got to negotiate David Russell, who we saw having contact with the Wellborn car earlier on. However, it wasn't in the hands of Wellborn, it was Alex McGee at the wheel at that point in time. So Matty will be very conscious that he wants to get past, but David with some fair pace. On that last lap, Matty did a 37.9, David did a 38.2, so they're only 0.3 different, but McLaren does have that road position where he should be let through. So that's someone 2 laps down, or potentially more, letting someone that's a lap down versus someone that's on lead lap. So they should all flip. That should be nose to tail by the time we come through again. So to the inside goes David. Porsche does a great job of just keeping out of the way. I think that was Jan's 934 car, I believe. If it was. And now it's just David and Matty that need to reverse for this battle here. Carl Wright hanging on 0.9 off the back of Craig at the moment. Blue flag is definitely showing there for David, so it shouldn't be too long. 15 seconds off the front of the field. Mark Raddenbury and Euros were a dead heat through that last sector. Raddenbury was momentarily ahead until he wasn't. So 0.4 gap there. Looks like we've got a battle heating up. Euros was 141, whereas Mark was a 39.1. The boat lead to the outside now. Can he hang it the long way round? It's going to be an impressive move if he can. Not quite able to. Then the bit where you don't really want to be side by side. Through the final sector now we head. One big braking zone, an unsettled car on the way in there for Euros. Mark carries a little wider apex but more speed. Gets all up behind the Audi. We head down towards turn 1. Straight line advantage potentially for the Bentley here. Has to duck back in after the compromise run out. Had to dive out the way of the R8. A swift flick to the inside. Unable to get it stopped, so the Audi better on the brakes. Looks like Mark just has to peg it back a touch or two out of the turn. Holds a tighter line. Is the nose down the inside? Not quite, but he scared the Audi wide. And there we go, the door opens. Another right-hander. We'll see him ahead. Not even having to cover the inside, and the Bentley is through. So Matty is through on David Russell. David is 2 seconds off his Delta. Matty is 1 second off. So looks like they did have a little bit of a discussion on the way through, but nonetheless, Matty is through. 14.5 seconds now to close down on Chris. Let's have a look at the track map. So Matty in car 86. You can see there's now no back markers between himself and Chris Rock. Chris Rock a fair distance from the next car, number 66, Nat Shirley. So we know that Nat's got good pace. That being said, he's on a 39, so he's a second off. So quite a lot for Chris to close in before he gets held up. So unless anyone else pits and ends up in the way, it's now a clear bit of road for Matty to go attacking the leader in the 21 car. Kyle's just holding on to the back of Craig. There's a second between those two at the moment. Up across the curb. So Krista's... Oh, the tyres struggling in the Celtic Bromance car. But I think he's got a fair distance. Yeah, so David's still in the last sector. So a big gap between 5th and 6th. Andrew Welbon now on the back of JP McKinley. Half a second. Andrew's been doing 39.2s. JP was 39.6 on the last time of asking. So Andrew is a second off his Delta. It looks like Andrew might have been through and then come back. That, not sure what's happened there for Andrew. Yeah, he's had a little bit of a slower lap. So tucks up behind JP now. Can he find a way by? JP goes deep. Andrew looks for the long way round. It doesn't exist on that time of asking. Andrew takes a wider line in. JP leaves the door down the inside, but Andrew not with his nose far enough alongside. Great horsepower advantage in this battle. It is sort of the same car, albeit with different setups on it. A wider line in for Andrew, tucks in for a later apex, but JP's already got that one covered. Through the right-hander, comparable amounts of curbs, slightly tighter exit for Andrew, but he goes with him. So can he go down the inside? He's looking to the inside. You can see the marbles extreme, fades to the right, brakes a little later. JP doesn't turn in on him, and JP McKinley sees Andrew through, and Andrew can now continue his task of chasing down David Russell. I know David's had some freer air. David's also lost 3 seconds off his Delta, so he's let the two Beamers through as well. So now, is that Andrew going into the chicane? It's not. You've got one car between the two of them, which with the track back you can tell it's the 934, the Porsche we saw earlier of Jan Barth, who we saw getting out of the way fairly early on. So Andrew has this quite clear battle on his hand to chase down 7.5 seconds in the next 28 minutes. So it looks like we've got a few battles unfolding as we see this race progress into its final half an hour. Kyle and Craig is far from done. We can see those tyres evolving as we go. We've then got... Yeah, Stefan, I see you in the chat. Come on, Matt, only 12 seconds on first. Yeah, he's got it down to 11.9. Last lap he was 7/10 faster. Could soon be in contention. Jens Porsche soon to be greeted by Andrew. Hot Wheels McLaren on the power out through this complex. The Porsche off throttle. Mark Randenbridge managed to make a bit of a gap on Urus, and he's now trying to chase down Ross Parker. He was 0.9 faster on the last lap, so we'll keep an eye on Randenbridge going after Ross to fight over that final place in the top 10. I think we might see Andrew making a move. Here we go, the Porsche over to the right hand side, even with the indicator on, so fantastic bit of yielding there by Jan in the 9th place car. Yeah, Stefan, definitely take all of the credit for that coaching. Definitely, 100%. 0.9 faster for Matty on that last lap. And Sabima's not too far behind though. They're still in contention if anything were to occur, so it looks like it could all come together. So that, you know, Chris potentially being caught by these guys could be in for a battle for the podium in its entirety. Matty down to 10 seconds. We can see him on the mini-map on the right-hand side, so Chris needs to keep his head down. They had a 30-second advantage, so Chris not quite with the pace that was seen earlier on. Is it now going to be sub 10 seconds? We crossed the line. It's 9.9. Here we go then, lads. The race is on. We've got 25 minutes. Yeah, boy, says Ant. But there's only the Beamers. 3.7. 4.8 behind. Andrew L1, 8.8 off the back of Dave Russell at the moment. We'll see if Andy can get that down any further. He didn't on that last lap. David Russell was actually faster, so David putting in some good times in his Aston Martin. In the back, not Steels. A little way off the back of Shirley. Shirley is closing in on Euros. Although we saw the contact earlier on with John Walker. So 2 pit stops for this Beamer. "24 minutes to go." So we've done 2 hours. Thank you for all of you that have been in it since the start of the stream. Since we started qualifying. I know I turned the stream on under, well, during the quali time, but just closed in. We've been live for 2 hours and 28 minutes so far. So it's looking like it's going to be a 3 hour, or just shy of a 3 hour stream. Thank you for joining me. We're 73 laps deep. So it is a longer race, 2.4 hours, 2 hours and 24 minutes. Nat there just understeering slightly on his way through. Right, Chris Rock, your current leader in the SAR, number 21 Porsche. Coming up behind, is that Stiggles? It's Stiggles. Then we go in, Stiggles straight out the way, lets the race leader through. It's down into the braking zone as you see Matty at the top of your screen on the straight. The gap now 8.4. It's tumbling. We could be in for some absolutely great racing towards the end of this stint race thing. Endurance race, 2.4 hours long. Cheers Sam, trying to keep it rolling. We are down to a track temp of 26. That could be affecting the tyres of some of these cars. You've got Christers into the pits in the Celtic Bromance Porsche, so a second stop now. Don't know if that is for tyres or fuel, how that's in. The number 69 Porsche makes way for the likes of Dave Russell. We may potentially have to make way for Dave Russell. Can we super chat? I have no idea. Here we go. Not sure what happened in that stop. Not sure if I saw the car static, and I don't think it was a drive-through. 49's had an accident. Who's 49? Kyle Wright. I don't know when that was called. I think we saw that accident. I think that's old news. So Kyle has definitely held on to Craig. David now 33 seconds off the back of Christus. So that may end up coming down as well. I think we're in for some right fights when we do get towards the closing stages. So Ross Parker is 0.8 off the back of Roddenberry. They're down at turn 1, but we'll just keep an eye. Can Nat get past the Euros? We're still with that front end damage. Nat just washing the car out wide. There's that bump though that unsettles the car. Yeah, you do have SAR on your car. No, so Nat not able to get past on that time of asking. Ross trying to close up on the back of Mark Roddenberry as they head onto the back straight. The gap at the front, 6.5. It's coming down as we head to the 20-minute mark. A dip of the grass on the way in, and apex not quite in sight for Ross. But Mark's still throwing that Bentley around. It actually looks like they've swapped, so Ross was ahead of Mark. And on the last lap, Ross did a 1:44, whereas Mark was a 39.1. So I don't think there was a coming together. So I think actually Mark managed to get past Ross, so apologies to Mark. I did you a disservice there. Has Nat made his way past the Euros? Not quite. So they head towards the final sector. Can the Beamer make a dive on the brakes off the wall? So he's going to try and hold a slightly narrower line.
Hello.
Hello. It's wide for Nat. How are you doing?
Okay, I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, it's been a long 2 hours, but we're doing alright. It looks like it's going to unfold into some interesting racing.
Yeah, look at the numbers. Matty's going to be close on catching Chris.
Yeah, Nat's pushing it, but I think he's got a Nat's got a damaged car, so we're looking at 13th and 12th at the minute.
For him to catch Hushak. Is that how you say that? Hushak?
That's a better attempt than I would have had. I've just been calling him Euros.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's also... I guess that's his first name, that's right.
I'm hoping. Matty's had a slow lap. He's had to get past Stiggles. So Matty's had a slower lap. He's done a 39.1, so that gap's gone back up. That's allowed Craig and Kyle to close in, so it depends how they can get past Stiggles.
Yeah.
Just saying, Chris, if there's... Yeah, I've just noticed Jamie Buchanan's message. Yeah, it was Mark got past Ross rather than Ross closed in on a Mark. So hang on, Stiggles is getting out of the way. He has got out of the way of the two Beamers, so Yeah, Stickle's now getting well out of the way. Let's hit camera set 2. So to give it a rundown, Chris Rock down the front, closing in on 27 and 66. So that is Euros and Nat having their battle. Chris is closing in on them. Matty is trying to close in on Chris. Here he comes. He'll break the beam for the final sector. 5.9. So there we go. His pace is back on track. You've then got Craig and Kyle now battling again, 0.2 apart. These two just need to keep it clean. They just need to keep it clean and take the fight so they can be there to try and take that podium place off of Chris. They could demote Chris to 4th, however, they're enjoying battling too much.
I can actually put yourself in Kyle's seat. You want to stick with them to catch up and have a chance to get the podium, but at the same time, is he thinking, is Dafford holding me up? Would he be better off getting in front of him maybe? Is there a chance there?
Well, these two have been trading places all evening. A couple of bumps. Yeah. It was Craig that was really the aggressor, but he's not been able to break away from Kyle. I think it's been pressure off for Kyle and he's been able to go with him, so that then turns into counter-attacks and it's a challenge. We've now got Dave Wrestle has passed the Porsche of Christus. Yeah. So Christus went back in the pit.
Yeah, we saw that. Cause I said to Andy, that might put him back in the battle, and obviously it has, because Dave's got past him. I'm guessing they're the same predicament that me and Anton had last season, of maybe a car couldn't make it on a certain map, and forced to take a 2-stop.
Yeah, I don't think I saw him for Jay Bath. So that's Jan Bath in the pits again in another of the Porsche.
Oh yeah.
Has Chris done his fuel maths? I know we saw I've forgotten his name, that's terrible. Marcel went long, so Chris should be okay.
Fine then. Yeah, as long as you make that 72-minute mark, as long as you're in the pits after there's an hour 12 left, then you should be good, as long as the other person isn't guzzling the fuel.
Yeah, too heavy on the fuel.
Then you should be fine. That's what Andy and I were working towards for ours, and I think I said that to John, Ant and Matt are also in the McLaren, so yeah, I was speaking to them about that as well. They're pretty confident they can go for a 1-stop.
So the gap from Chris to Matty is now comparable to the gap from Matty to Chris. I am so tired. This is the longest stream ever. I want to go to bed. I early on I called Ant a weird name, and I was like, even I want to listen to what I've just said, because it wasn't English. It was nowhere near. So Chris is now going to catch up Nat Shirley and Euros Hujak. There you go. I'll join in as well at butchering names.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting now the next 5 minutes. And then
those beamers.
Or the last 10 minutes.
Those beamers in the background, I'm sorry, I wanted to watch Chris for a bit, but look at them!
So how long have they been like this? Sort of non-stop the past sort of...
Yeah, since we came out of the pits. So Kyle dived back out of the... Kyle's taking huge lumps of curb and sending it sideways. We've got 14 minutes left and these two are battling like it's a touring car race. It's brilliant.
Battle for the podium, isn't it?
It's battle for the podium, but they need to be there. They need to be there when Chris comes under fire from Matty, because it might not be a clean dead pass. It might be a battle.
Blow the two of them there. I'm assuming Matt, because he has been faster, will get past, and then Chris is then vulnerable to those two. That's what I expect might happen. But like you said,
they're weaving down the straight. We're breaking toe. This is fantastic. The gap across the line, 0.3, as you see it in front of you. 4.4 between the lead two. Matty on that last lap was slower. 0.3 slower than Chris, so Matty just needs to keep his head in the rhythm. He's not running out of time just yet, but we've got the leader now as I dare to break away. So the leader is up to some back markers. This is
up to a couple of them.
Ant Brown. Lol, he's having a technical error. Wheel keeps disconnecting.
Oh.
It doesn't sound good. Right, the leader trying to get past the Audi. The Audi keeping to the left, but Chris wants to tow. And he didn't manage to get an overlap, so he's stuck behind the Audi. for another corner, pushes deep. Chris just needs to keep his head in the game.
This is helping Matt every time, every little mistake.
This is helping Matt, but I'm worried about them Beamers. If they don't take each other out, they are in contention. If Matty's having wheel issues, if Chris is compromised on pace, there is every chance for those Beamers to get involved if they don't trip over each other.
It's always a risk. Yeah, you get that last 10 minutes, you get the red eyes, you see the red mist even. I mean, you just want to get past that car in front. You've been staring at its bumper for too long.
Here we go then. Out onto the back straight. Chris is definitely wanting to get past. Don't forget tyres now. We're pushing on. We're in the later stages of the stint. We're about an hour into people's stints and they're 1 point something off. Just the shifters and buttons, not the base. So compromised.
Was a lot faster that last lap.
Oh yeah, 1.5 seconds closes in 2.8. There we go. Euros gets out the way. Although he's kept his foot in it, so Chris will be nervous of a dive. That's the Audi diving back down the inside of the leader. That's not what you want to see. So Chris couldn't turn in there, and you almost read that the Audi was going to show its nose. So Matty then in the background. Chris needs to get past Nat. Matty needs to get past Euros, and the Beamers need to not murder each other. Where are they? There they are. Christ, that's the most daylight between those two cars we've seen. You've also got Dave Wrestle versus Christus and Andrew. That's what, a 4-second gap? Oh no, a 5-second gap. And then Andrew is 3 seconds off the back? 5 seconds off the back, so
too bad.
A 10-second spread across those cars as well.
What's the gap looking like there, the difference? Well, Andy might be able to do that, looking at gaps for like 10 minutes.
Potentially. What's
Maybe.
Matty doing? So Matty finds an Audi, sorry.
Yeah, hope he can get past them nice and clean
The
quickly.
Audi's gone deep, the Audi's on the grass. So it's now the run onto the straight. McLaren's nice and tidy, clips the inside curb. The Audi looks for an almost switchback kind of line after being compromised. Out onto the straight we go then, blue flag. The Beamers in the background drafting each other again.
This is brilliant.
So the McLaren shows its nose to the inside. Intentions are made clear early, later on the brakes, nose to the inside. The Audi can't turn in, leaves plenty of room. Matty's gone deep.
Careful,
He's across the grass.
Very
So
deep.
he forced the issue, and that's given Chris the breathing room he needs. So the Audi causing some concern. The gap was 2.1. We've got the next. Oh, the Audi's crashed. Are the Beamers through? The Beamers are through for the rejoin of Eurus. So, as we come out of this left-hander, we'll get the end of Sector 1. The 2-second gap is now 2.9. We've lost just over a second. Is that the breathing room that Chris needed? Chris is catching up
Catching
now.
up with his own traffic, yeah.
The Beamers now, look, they're in contention. 1.7. The Beamers are closer to Matt than Matt is to Chris. Is it starting to unravel? He'll be seeing that timer now under 10 minutes and the pressure will be on. We've got 9 minutes and 20 seconds to go. What are we saying through this sector? Yeah, 2.9, so it's maintained through there. Chris up to a back marker. What's Nat going to do? See Nat be quick and...
I'm going to guess they might be in the chat together. And maybe... Because Nat's one of the boys, isn't he? I can imagine there might be some calls of please move out the way.
Yeah, so an overspeed of the Porsche already at the start of the straight. Blue flag waves. Yeah, the Beamer's backed out of it. So what happens here? Is there any shenanigans when the McLaren closes in? He closed in 0.2 on that last time. Sorry to those further down the field, we're not watching at the moment. It's a case of watching Chris try to scamper away. Has Matt's opportunity gone, or can he close down that 2.7 seconds? That isn't one of ours. Okay, it's been called. Beamer's there looking good just behind. So yeah, Matty with a 39.4 on that last lap. He lost 1.3 to the cars behind him. Dropped 0.6 back from Chris. Breaking off the back straight. It's looking neat and tidy from Matt now. He's got it back in. The tyres aren't too dirty. So 2.77 as we round the right-hander. That turns into 2.2, so that's tumbling. Down into the braking zone. We've just got Nat in the mix now that we've just got to be careful of. Then we've got a clean bit of fighting. Talking of clean fighting, look at these two. I know they've knocked 7 shades of each other's door handles out of each other tonight, but the battle continues. Have we got any last-minute pit stops that need to be made? There's a number of variables. There we go. Hopefully we don't see a dive from Matty on this lap. We just need to come across Nat in the right pace. Down to 2 seconds again. It was 0.8 faster. So a few more laps and we might be within striking distance. Puncture for Kyle. Sam Aldridge in the chat. Apparently Kyle's got a puncture. A flash of the lights of the McLaren. He wants to get through. He had a compromise line in there. Nat's out wide over the curbs. Through the left-hander, the upshift is delayed apparently, which is fine under normal scenario, but higher revs means more fuel. So at the moment, Matty's potentially rinsing some fuel. Nat gets out of the way. He's not going to influence this one. Nicely done. So he fades back across and drops in behind his second place car. The gap is now less than 2 seconds. It's 1.8. They are very close on circuit now. You see them almost together, but there's third and fourth. So you've got a mix that you normally see Nat in. Unfortunately, he's way down in 11th in this race. We're 1.1. The closing speed is great, but that doesn't mean the move's done. So fade out brake against the wall. The Beamers in the background getting brave. Sam, is that a properly punctured tyre, or is that a slow puncture for Kyle? Is he going to stick on track and just with reduced pressures?
His pace has kept up, so I wouldn't suggest that there's a full puncture. Possibly maybe burped it over a curb.
Yeah, potentially.
Maybe he's lost their pressure, but it looks to be holding up with Craig at the minute, so doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. I think we are going to have in the last 3 or 4 minutes all 4 of them together.
Absolutely. It depends how quickly Matty can potentially get this move done as the horrendous livery moves around the right-hander. Tucks the nose in. Cheers for joining us, Sam. Yeah, hopefully you enjoy the rest of it. You've got about 5 minutes left to watch. Out of sector 1 we go. It was 0.9. It's still 0.9, so they're matched through the first. Matty slightly off his time. He'll start getting a slight bit of aero wash as we head down the back straight. That'll be in the braking zones and through some of these longer, drawn-out corners. The shorter, sharper corners potentially has the faster car. Drive out of there.
Just like the teammate past Christus. I probably should have been
Wellborn's unpassed, yeah, good stuff. So that's Wellborn recovering up to 6th. 0.6 now, so it's that middle sector and then onto this last sector where Matty's faster, but we might see him catch him in sector 1, which is where we know the advantage isn't. Here we go then, 4 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock. Like you say, potentially only 2 laps left. So if it's going to happen, he's going to have to make it happen in the next couple of laps. Out onto the back straight we go. That 0.6 gap as we head across the line is 0.5. 3 minutes and 50 to go. Yeah, potentially it's 3 more laps, isn't it? This plus 2 more. Comparable lines through the first. Kyle's closed right up on Craig. Has Nat elected to get out of the way, or? So Craig dives down the inside of Nat. Is that going to put a gap between him and Kyle, or can Kyle go through as well? Nat washes wide. Hopefully doesn't fight it. He backs out. So the 2 Beamers are through as well. Back down the front. Matt's just keeping it composed. Hugs the inside curb on the way around. Chris has held on this long. He has done very well. Can he continue to hold this position? Marcel handed him a car in a great position. He's narrow into the corner, so it's starting to look slightly defensive from Chris. I don't know if his plan is to back the Beamers into him. The Beamers 1.5 behind now. They're closing in. They are going to want a piece of this. As we lose the light, we lose the track temperature. Into the last sector, we know the McLaren is stronger here. Hugs a nicer apex, Chris a little wider out. We know the McLaren is good in a straight line. A little wobble on apex for Matty pushes him out across the white lines, so it's not looking like a run, although Chris has elected to go massively defensive. Not only a defensive... Oh, we've lost Chris. Craig. Craig's had to pit. So with 2 minutes to go, Craig, one of the Beamers, has gone. Matty's looking down the inside in the McLaren. He showed his nose. The Porsche not able to turn in. Holds the faster line. Matty's looking for the outside to give him the inside for the next, but the door wasn't really open. So it's now Kyle that's in the mix. So Kyle with what we believe is a burp tyre in third place, closing in. Matty's not been able to dive down the inside like he needed to. The gap, 0.3. Sector 1, not the strength, although it's looking good. The Porsche's gone wide. Leaves enough room. They just bang doors. Here comes a Beamer. 3 cars with an SAR logo. The Beamer gets into the back of the McLaren. Kyle a little impatient maybe there. SAR colours on all 3 cars, but this doesn't mean anything. They are absolutely sending it. Matty's looking for the inside. It's not there. It's covered by Chris. Kyle just needs to keep the nose clean and pick his moment. But it looks like the moment will be attacking the McLaren before the McLaren can get past the Porsche. So breathing room for Chris Rock in the lead car. Into the final sector, the Beamer's looking strong. They concertina up. They rattle the curbs. Through the left-hander we go. The McLaren holding that tighter line. The Porsche really pushing on now. The long sweeping curves in the Porsche, whereas a shorter distance for the McLaren. As we head out onto the straight, Chris feels the need to break the toe again, but it's the Beamer that could potentially... Oh, here we go. We're on to the final lap. So Porsche leads McLaren, leads Beamer. Your top 3 all within a second after 2.4 hours. All comparable through the first turn. If anything, the McLaren closes up onto the Porsche. Matty knows that he's not got a huge advantage through this sector. The Beamer backs off slightly. There we go then. We've seen the Porsche struggle around this left-hander in previous laps. Chris swings it in. It pushes slightly wide, but that does allow him to cut back and gives him a good line. Now, how's the run onto the back straight? Is Matty able to do anything here? If anything, the Beamer's looking strong. Oh no, the Porsche had a slight wiggle. So the Porsche is going to have to go massively defensive. Chris is going to have to defend on the way in. Can the McLaren go the whole way around the outside? I don't think we've seen anyone do it, but he's left the door open for the BMW. The BMW gets into the door, so Kyle's into the door of Matty. That holds Matty back. He's not able to get on the throttle. So a slight tap. The Porsche is really compromised through this section. The change of direction is not its strong point. Can the McLaren send one down the inside? Is Chris going to have to defend the inside line? Is any defence required? So up onto the banking we go, breaking a straight line. It's a half cover for the Porsche. The Beamer's in strong. They're nose to tail through the final left-hander. If they keep it all squared up through here, it's just the sprint onto the straight. I think we're all good. So Chris Rock in the Porsche powers out the final turn, unless someone's got a nitrous button. That's definitely going to hold on. So Chris Rock leads across the line to win the race from Matty Zenko, who is 0.3 behind. Kyle only 0.5. 3 cars with the SAR logo on take the checkered flag. Nat Shirley holds on from Jans Bath in 11th and 12th. Dave Ressel brings home the car in 5th. Take a breath, ladies and gentlemen. That was one hell of a race. So Wellborn has finished in 6th after a compromised first half to their race. Still very respectable in 6th. David having 5th place as cruised round in the Aston Martin. Euros we saw earlier on in his Audi getting in the mix. It's JP McKinley and a rather ragged Christus in the Celtic Bromance Porsche. All back to the pits. Craig, having pitted earlier on, holds on for 4th place. Unfortunately not in the mix for that final battle. A 4-way scrap could have been incredible. You've then got Mark Radbury crossing the line with Not Stiggles finishing on lap 84. 88 laps done by the leaders, so quite a field spread, but some absolutely massive battles up and down the pack. The top 3, an absolutely brilliant brilliant race. So thank you very much for joining us. I know a number of drivers when it wasn't their go, jumping in the chat, jumping in the commentary with me, so I really appreciate that. Thank you all for joining us. If you haven't hit like just as you're watching the end, please do hit like. Hopefully we get a few more in next time. But Chris Rock holds on from Matty Zenko and Carl Wright. Join us next time for the next race. I might stream it, I might not. There we go. Cheers all, thank you very much.